What brought me and my family here to Next Chapter was my husband and I were raised Catholic, and we were looking for something different, just to raise our family a little bit differently. We felt called to something else, and so we were exploring some different opportunities in the area, and we knew someone who was attending here. So that was when we were in Southgate. And we came to Southgate, and it was actually a guest speaker that day. And we walked out, and I thought, I don't know how this is going to go. And my husband said, let's come back. Let's try it again. So we did. And, 10 years later, we just keep coming back. And we've essentially raised our boys here. They were, like I said, 10 years ago, which is crazy to think about it. They were 13, let me do some math, 13, 11, and 5. And, now they're in their 20s, and our youngest is 15. And so essentially we raised them here. And that's been very important to us. I think it's important for our church community to be planted here in Taylor Mill, Kentucky for a variety of reasons, but I think the most important, the way that I see it, is we didn't really have a home. We were kind of transient a little bit in terms of the time that our family has been with the church. This is our 4th location. And I know when we were at Jolly, it was a great space. Like, we loved the space, but we didn't feel like we were part of a community. And I know myself, I could feel that as well. It felt like, when we would ask people, hey, could you drop our kids off to us at church? And they're like, where am I going? In this industrial park. And so I think it was really important for us to be in a community. And it's fun for me to answer this question because one day I was sitting there in service, and I thought about, where are we going next? And I tangibly felt the Holy Spirit say, you've got to connect Rob in Next Chapter with this open space, because my brother and sister-in-law had been coming here when it was Lakeside. And I was like, okay. And I don't know if you've ever gotten a message from the Holy Spirit, but it's like, it's persistent. He's persistent, like you're not going to be left alone. And so I thought, all right, this feels a little weird. But anyway, I reached out to Rob and just said, hey, I don't know if we're even still looking for a space, because we had been at Jolly for a few years. Rob was like, yeah, we're still looking. And so I said, well, let me just connect you. I like to connect people. I like to connect things. So it felt very natural. And then months later, right before we were getting ready to announce it, Rob calls me on a Saturday. And I was like, why is Rob calling me on a Saturday? And I answered the phone. He's like, Leighann, we did not yet get to tell you that we are moving. We're going to announce it tomorrow. And it was so amazing to feel that whole story come together. Whereas, the Holy Spirit just said, share this. It didn't say you've got to be part of the process, just share it. And there we are. So it makes me a little emotional, but exciting. How do I sense God moving here? Well, in many ways. I feel like I have met so many newer people, and it's been incredible to feel that new energy and that the Holy Spirit moving. I really get the feeling that as a world, honestly, we're in the middle of a revival. I think we get comfortable sometimes in what we're doing. I know I myself have gotten comfortable at times, like, oh, this is what I'm called to do, and I'm just going to keep doing that. But we really have to tune in and listen to what God is asking us to do. And I think that might mean different things to different people. For some of us, that might mean a different life group. We're going to step out a little bit, and we're going to do something we never thought we would do. We're going to join a life group, and maybe it's just for a little bit. Like, for example, I a couple years ago when we started The Chosen, I joined that life group just for the first season, and I started watching it, and I loved it. And then I started watching it with my son. So I felt like I was called to do that for a little bit, but then also that connection with my son, my 15-year-old, to watch it together. And so I think God is calling us in so many different ways here, right now, but that's going to be individual, and that's going to also be together as a group. What do we want to do together? Because we can have a huge impact on the world. And I love where we're headed. So I hope you are as excited as I am to join me here for our next adventure.